All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. I just got back from getting my hair cut, and they cut it a little bit short. But I'm okay with that. My hair grows rather fast, and so this will give it a little more time to grow in. I thought it was kind of funny because they were trying to get my hair to lay down to the side, and I neglected to tell them that when it's cut this short, it will not lay down. And so they were desperately trying to get it down. I was kind of laughing. But anyway, first part of this update is going to be in regards to the strike. And then the second half is going to be the few pictures that I've grabbed for the DC stuff that I have to show you. So let's talk about the WGA strike. The AMPTP and the WGA, which is the Writers Guild of America, they did come to a tentative agreement. So the strike is not officially over yet. They have to get all 11,000 and however many members there are in the WGA to agree and to sign off on it. That'll get the writers back into the writers' room, which means talk shows will be able to continue. That has nothing to do with the SAG-AFTRA strike. And as of earlier today or late last night, the SAG-AFTRA did get the video game segment of the industry to also agree to strike if it comes down to it. So there's still a big standoff, and everything will be in a standstill until SAG-AFTRA completes their talks. But here's the thing with SAG-AFTRA. They have not even begun talks. They haven't even come to the table yet. They haven't even sat down to begin discussions. You have a lot of people out there, like the guy who played Walter White from Breaking Bad, which is my favorite show of all time. He was out there. You got Fran Drescher out there talking about a lot of stuff, but they have yet to meet with the studio heads. So SAG-AFTRA has had no meetings with the studios yet. And this could go on. Like I said, the actors expect this to go into January or February of next year, which means everything is still going to be at a standstill. You can write a bunch of projects, but you won't be able to film anything. And I do know there are a lot of programs that are ramping up to start production as soon as the actors come back from the strike. One of those being The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO Max. So you can look for that to start filming shortly after the SAG-AFTRA strike ends. Now, the only way the SAG-AFTRA strike is going to end is if the studios come to the table with an agreement like the writers got. They're getting more money for the streaming. They're getting more money overall, and they did put limitations on AI. And so I do expect that all 11,000 members will agree to agree to sign and move on and be done with it for the time being. But the actors, they were the ones who had the most ridiculous things put, on them as well. And I don't think they're going to be as easy to satisfy. And so do expect this to go on. But there could be a miracle, and it could end sooner if we do have them all come to an agreement. But we'll see what happens with that here in the future. But let's take a look at the few DC things that have come out over the last couple of days. There hasn't been a lot, but Martin Scorsese did make the rounds all over social media over the last couple of days. So here's what we have. Martin Scorsese says fight back against comic book movies, supporting directors like the Dark Knight's Christopher Nolan. So what he is saying is we need to get away from what the MCU has become and what the last 4 to 5, well, it's more than 4 to 5. Black Adam was a little bit more than just a regular comic book movie, but there have been like the last 7 DC films have been nothing other than just regular comic book movies. They have not had any depth to them like the Christopher Nolan trilogy did. Now, what's funny about this is there was a part of his interview that was actually left out on purpose at the behest of Warner Brothers Discovery. We're going to take a look at that next. So here is the other part of this Martin Scorsese interview. It says, breaking, Warner Brothers allegedly forced GQ to cut part of their interview with Martin Scorsese in which he said that Zack Snyder's DC trilogy restored his faith in cinema. And here's the thing about Zack Snyder's trilogy. And to me, it's more than just what Zack Snyder did. It's the first 5 or 6 films. What he did, there is a depth to those movies, especially Batman vs. Superman has many layers to that film that people just do not understand. The average moviegoer and people who just want to rail against it just do not understand the depth of that story. And I could talk about that movie for hours and what it meant and how, Lex Luthor knew everything long before the movie ever started and how he had manipulated everything to get those two men to go after each other. So the extended version of that movie shows you a whole lot more than what the theatrical version did. And Martin Scorsese came out and talked about how awesome those films were. And so he sees that the darker, more mature stories are the way to go. And that's the way I think the majority of fans want at this stage. We don't want MCU 2.0. We don't want the goofiness that we've had in the last 4 DC films. We want something with more depth to it. And it doesn't look like we're going to get that anytime soon. Now, there is one more thing I wanted to share with you guys, and we're going to actually watch this together. So this is going to be basically a trailer reaction from me, but somebody sent me something that they wanted me to share on my channel, and I'm just letting you guys know I'm not going to make a habit of this, of sharing everything that people send to me, but this individual, I was watching this all come together, and so we're going to take a look at this. He sent me this on Twitter, and let's see what it says here. Now, he said, Review Fisher, hi Aaron, big fan of your channel. I've been working on a feature-length edit of Ben Affleck's Batman for a while. Plus, recently updated a teaser, or uploaded a teaser. I'd really appreciate it if you checked it out and shared it for awareness. Thanks so much. So let's take a look at what this is. I have not looked at this just yet.
Master Wayne, are you receiving me? Bruce, can you hear me? Sir, please. I need your help when there isn't much.
Look at that. Bruce? Bruce, is that you? A little early for dinner, aren't we? Or did you have something else more exciting in mind? Bruce?
Don't be late.
All right, guys, so there you have it. A teaser for the Batman, specifically Ben Affleck's Batman. It is supposedly a story told in that universe. I don't think it's strictly related to the movie that they were going to release, but they are going to take some inspiration from that. And we'll see. I'm definitely going to be checking that out when it comes out. I am a huge fan of Batman, my favorite character out of all the DC characters, and I am looking forward to that. I've been following it for quite some time. So we'll check that out when we see it. Now, one little tidbit of information is that James Gunn did come out and officially say that his DCU does start with Creature Commandos and not the 3 films, the 3 previous films like he had mentioned in that last video that I did where I showed all of his nonsense that he's talking out of both sides. The guy's just a liar. And they still haven't paved the way for that DCU to start. It's not going to make any sense unless they're going to erase the Flash completely from the universe and not have the Flash in it. And they just continue with Wonder Woman and just say that he fricasseed everything. But who knows? We still don't know how it's going to start or how it all fits together because they haven't shown us anything that's going to lead us to that conclusion. All right, guys, we will see you on the next update.